let's talk about the international games, because you mentioned how the phrase of taking the Ferrari out of the garage by putting big time matchups in big time spots already on the schedule. So I guess are you taking the Aston Martin or Range Rover out of the garage? I'm trying to come up with all the UK based car companies, because what I'm pointing out is that it's forced. There's one game in Dublin and then 3 games in London, all in one full month of 4 windows of football for fans to enjoy here in the United States. But you've got the Vikings on the road in 2 different countries. That's the first time that's ever happened. And then I'm sure there's going to be folks in the NFL offices who are going to be spending a month plus in Europe. Are we piloting something for a full year in Europe? Is this something that you guys are talking about?
Commissioner
Mike?
Goodell has been very clear about his vision for our international slate. This is the most we've ever played. It was not easy, but he keeps talking about 8, 10, 12, maybe someday 16 international games. This is probably the tip of the iceberg. Yeah, I think we're going to keep trying to do it. And kind of like you said, you do them all right in a row, fans can get conditioned. And, oh, yep, every Sunday morning, wake up, more football. You're talking about what, 12, more than 12, right? 15 hours of NFL football. That's a fun day. And to do it over and over and over again in September and October. Yeah, I think we are conditioning the fans. I think we're conditioning ourselves. I think we're conditioning our teams. That's sort of where the Minnesota thing came from. I had reached out to all the clubs that were potential opponents for all the host teams internationally and said, look, you can see the schedule. Vikings, you travel to Pittsburgh this year. They're hosting a game in Dublin. You're a candidate. And then another call a day later. Hey, you see the Browns schedule. You're an opponent for them in Cleveland. They're hosting a game in London. It was actually Commissioner Goodell who said, do you think they might be interested in doubling up and playing them both? To which, again, I said, absolutely not. That's crazy. Wrong again. I called the Vikings,
Yeah.
and they went from open-minded to intrigued to eager and willing, and another chance to innovate, another chance to try something different. The Jags have done it the last couple of years, played a game, stayed, played another game, but this is the first time, same team, 2 different countries, both on the road. Strategically, I'm sure they were thinking about, very easily could have been scheduled for at Pittsburgh and at Cleveland in December in the snow. And instead you get those games out of the way early. You don't have to play them in the snow. God knows what the weather's going to be like over there. But I'm sure there was something strategic that the Vikings thought made sense for them, not just from a marketing standpoint, but also from the football side. And once coach got on board with it, it was going to be hard for the rest of the operations team to say, hey, we're not going to be able to make this work. They're going to make it work, and we'll all learn a little something.